It started. I'm off. I'm only 20k in, but I've just pulled over to take my rain jacket off. Pretty cold. It's about 9 degrees and raining. But the weather gods work in weird and mysterious and wonderful ways. You know, the only day that I'm actually heading a little bit south, I've got a massive northerly wind, so pumping right behind me. If this wind goes away the next few days, I've got it right, you know? So what an amazing way to start. Rainy, cold, but a nice big tailwind. Slightly downhill from Lansfield as well. I'm happy to be on the road, actually. All the little things, getting ready and everything. My mind was racing, but I'm only in the beginning. Let's just keep going. Well, that, of course, was the episode that I did last week, My Road to the Worlds, a big episode, the journey to the World Championships, a bikepacking trip, if you will, just my story on the road, you know, doing 1,000k on my own and meeting people along the way. Go and listen to that if you haven't already heard it. I've had a great response from that, from everyone who listened. They enjoyed it. I wasn't sure if everyone would enjoy hearing me babble away the whole way up to Sydney. But we got a break with speaking to all the people who came out and met me along the way, plus the talk about beer and, of course, the weather gods. They were on my side. That was last week's episode, the last episode of Life in the Peloton for this season. This is, of course, Talking Luft, and we're back, the last episode for this year. And I've got a cracker. I've got Luke Rowe for us this week. If you don't know Luke Rowe, he's from Wales in the UK. He's been riding with Team Sky ever since he turned pro, since 2012, right up until today. Well, with Team Ineos, that it is known as now. He was a guy that I used to rub shoulders with in the Peloton because we sort of crossed paths a little bit. He's a classic specialist. He's a road captain. He's a guy who loves the crosswinds. They're all the things that I love to do too. So most often than not, we're at the same part in the Peloton at the same time, not agreeing with each other all the time because we both wanted to do the same job. But he's a great guy to talk to. He was the second episode I ever did on Life in the Peloton. Way back in the beginning, I had Luke Durbridge, and the next episode I did was Luke Rowe. So all those years ago, about 6 years ago, I had Luke on, and now I've got him back for Talking Luft, finally. We caught up at the World Championships just before the road race and did a little Talking Luft. I've got a little bit of stuff to get through just before we get to the episode. Because it is the last episode this year, you won't hear from me until we get back at the Tour Down Under next year. We've got some exciting new merch collection coming out. Keep your eyes out on the website. That's something we've been working away at, Lara and I. We've got a new distributor. We've been trying to get the collection together, and that is just about to be dropped. And check it out on the social media. You'll see it on Instagram, of course, and on the email. If you're not a subscriber and you want to hear about that, make sure you get across to lifeinthepeloton.com and subscribe, because you will see when that merch comes out and you want to get your hands on the new stuff. I can tell you it's much better quality and it looks cool too, of course, with our logo all over it. Our caps are back in stock. The Talking Luft cap, the original Life in the Peloton cap, and the Rowey special edition. In case you missed them, get across the website and grab yourself one of them. Criminal if you don't have one of them and you're a Life in the Peloton fan. I've seen many out there, and I want to see everyone wearing one of those caps. It's just a reminder, if you have missed an episode this year, go back and have a listen. All the episodes are pretty much timeless. You can listen to them at any point of the year, and they're not sort of checking in about race results or anything like that. They're all stories. Go back and have a listen to the catalogue. I felt this season was awesome. I wasn't sure how we're going to do it this year, Life in the Peloton, and I'm not being in the World Tour Peloton. It sort of worked, exploring all these other pelotons. I had such fun doing it this year. It brought a new love to the podcast for me. I met so many great people on these journeys, going to these different events, but of course, touching back in with the World Tour and hearing how ridiculous it is in the World Tour now. Thank God I'm not racing anymore in that, because it has just gone up another level. Of course, you can hear that on all the normal podcast platforms, but if you have missed it, get across to the website. It's a new website. We're playing all the episodes from the website as well. That's lifeinthepeloton.com. Go and check out the episodes there. I love hearing from you guys, so if you haven't left a comment somewhere, send me a message, send me an email, leave a comment on an episode. Give me a suggestion about people you want to hear from, or questions you want to hear on Talking Luft, or whatever it is. I love hearing from you guys. get in, write to me, let me know what you think, and I'll try and make it happen. Before we get to the episode, this podcast this year has been brought to you by Rapha. Our proud partner for 2022 has been Rapha, and it has been awesome working with them. You've heard me talk about it week in, week out, whether it was about the kit, whether it was about the Rapha Cycling Club, the RCC, or whether it was just about the Rapha community. I've loved working in all aspects, and it's been the perfect step for me post-career to step into. This family, I'm going to use that word because, we use that loosely, but it really is like a family. I've really enjoyed it back here in Australia. When I travelled over to Copenhagen, I was welcomed in. Wherever I go, I feel like there is this really warm community involved, and that's what they're trying to create. This love for cycling, wherever you go, you're accepted. That's what the RCC is. And of course, the kit. Say no more. You know how much I love kit. I'm not going to go on about it. They do make some pretty good kit. So it has been awesome having them on board, as well as all that stuff, but helping me to collaborate with the podcast this year. I hope you guys have really enjoyed their involvement with Life in the Peloton this year. Guys, I'm going to bring you Luke Rowe. Sit back for the last Talking Luft of 2022. All right, we're out in Barrel. Here we are. This is Talking Luft with none other than Luke Rowe, the guy who was at the very beginning of Life in the Peloton, the second episode. Behind Luke Durbridge, I had another Luke Rowe. Welcome, Rowey, back to the pod many years later.
Yeah, one of the OGs. I started this all off, many moons ago. Sun Tour 2016,
maybe, yeah.
6 years ago, Yeah, thanks for having me. Here we are.
You've got your own pod now.
Yeah.
What's occurring?
Me and G started that off 3-4 years ago now. But we've been a bit slow recently, but we got a few in the pipe work. We're not as organised or professional as yourself, Mitch, but we're getting there.
Do you enjoy doing the pods?
I do. Because for us, it's simple. There's a guy who cuts it and does all that, but there's not much to do. We press start. We don't do any prep, and we press stop, and we send it out. There's no editing, cutting. It pretty much just goes out raw.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. Quite unscheduled, just a bit loose. So no, I do enjoy them. Yeah.
Well, let's see if you enjoy this. This is Talking Luft. So this is a little bit different style. This is all about style, your rituals, and this year I've broken it down. Well, anyway, for pros, I've broken it down into 5 topics.
Okay.
You got style and clothing, few questions, food, rituals, culture, and a little bit about you.
Radio.
You ready?
I'm ready. Hit me.
Let's do it. The first question is Capellinos, casquettes, little mini cycling caps. What's your style when you've got it on without a helmet? When you go into the podium? Do you wear it forwards, backwards, bit of luft? Do you have it no luft, skull cap down, swimming cap style? What is your style?
First of all, the first mistake you made there is you said when you go to the podium. It's been a while since I've taken a trip to the podium, but you've kindly given me one here, and I'd go facing forwards, peak up, very small amount of luft. Not the same amount as you had, but a little bit of luft.
Okay, I like it. If you could have raced back in the day without a helmet, back in the 90s, what would you have styled been? Would it have been a snag helmet, like a leather helmet? Would have been, a headband, cap potentially? Hair? Maybe just the hair?
I'd have cut the top. I've used a traditional cap like this with the top cut off.
Taffy style.
Taffy style. Have quite long hair, bit flaring out the top with a half mullet at the back.
Oh.
Yeah. And then... nice pair of glasses on top, maybe a pair of Bricos or something.
You've actually delved into the mullets a little bit, just a little tiny one.
Yeah, I mean, nothing, again, an amateur compared to what you've got going on there. But I did try and rock a mullet for a bit, but it was like a yearly cycle. I'd always try and get it for the classics. So my prep would start midsummer after the tour, and then I wouldn't have a haircut until after the classics. Then I'd shave it, so I'd be cool for the summer. And it was I pretty much had one haircut a year. And I just let it grow right the way through and then get rid of it after the classics.
So it's a more lazy man's mullet.
Yeah. I mean, I did like the look of a mullet. My missus hated it. She said, "Oh, you look like a gypsy." She hated it, but I'm married, so she stuck with me, so it doesn't matter.
Well, that's probably why you don't have a mullet, because at the end of the day, you're not going to overrule that, are you?
Happy wife, happy life, eh?
Yep. Arm warmers, over or under your sleeves?
Under. I mean, no debate.
What about when you pull your arm warmers down on the stage and it gets cold again? What are you doing? You pulling the sleeves back up, you rolling them up, and you slipping them back under?
No, I think, you're throwing a spanner in the works there. Under, when you pull them down, they're going back over the top, aren't they? For pure simplicity factor.
What about gloves or no gloves?
I'm generally a guy who would try and race with as little kit as possible. It's something I've always tried to do. I think any more kit than is necessary is just kind of weighing you down, flapping around. You see guys starting, you've seen it, like someone starting a one-day classic just hugely overdressed because it, traditionally you wear loads of clothes, take a layer off. The Italians always used to do it in the Worlds, didn't they? Rugged up for the first few laps. But I try to race and be as minimalistic as possible with my kit. So unless it's pretty cold, I'd opt for no gloves.
No gloves, even I'm talking about short finger gloves.
Mitts? Always mitts.
Mitts.
Always
That's what I was talking about. Sorry, mitts.
Okay, mitts, always.
Yeah, right.
Okay, not every day in training, but in the summer, I'd even train in mitts because your hands get sweaty, hands slip off the bars. I like the comfort of them. So 90% of the time, I'm in mitts. And in a race, 100% of the time.
Do you miss, you just brought it up, do you miss the old times when you used to see, for us anyway, the old times, Tom Boonen be single file in the classics at the start, hard Tour of Flanders. You'd see him just slip out of the line and slowly pull his leg warmers off. And you're like, are we not going hard? And just, it was more like I almost think it was more like an intimidation technique. These guys were like, I haven't been going hard yet. Now I'm just going to strip it off and it's time to race.
Yeah. No, there was something classy about it.
Yeah.
And a similar point of view, you'd be going up a climb and I'd be thinking, this is pretty solid here early on the race, like you're not full gas, but you're thinking, I don't want to stop. And like a big Italian rider would just pull over and stop for a piss, It's like, I hate it, like they're not even trying. Similar thing, intimidation.
It's got to be intimidation because there's no way they were doing it that easy.
No.
Yeah.
So there was something classy about it, but I think now we've got to the point where the sport's so hard, you don't want to give away an inch,
Glasses under or over the helmet strap?
Over. There's no debate. Simple.
Leg warmers, socks or under? Over or under the leg warmers?
Socks under leg warmers. Again, always just simple. Nip it in the bud.
Race suit or Nixon jersey?
Race suit. Simply, I think it's more comfortable.
Is it?
Yeah, I think if you get a good race suit, we've got BioRacer this year, Castelli last, and they're both super. It's actually I actually find it more comfortable.
Even in training?
No, never in training. Just because I look like a bit of a knob walking into the calf in a suit. Don't you? But racing always.
If and when you win the World Championships one day, are you going to don the full Chippo getup? White nicks, helmet, gloves, socks, bike, everything. Just go, you know what? I'm champ. Let's do it.
I mean, it's never going to happen, but one can always dream, right? So if I won it, fuck it. I'd just go full gas, everything white, just over the top, like white everything. Just go to town with it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to food, rice or pasta?
Pasta.
Normal breakfast, or are you one of those guys that does like dinner for breakfast, like has the pasta in the morning and, an omelette mixed in and all rice and, that sort of thing, get even like a Rogan Josh happening? Or are you like it's breakfast time, I'm going to have like pancakes and cereal and normal breakfast?
I probably used to be a bit of a pasta for breakfast type guy, but now more traditional.
Yeah.
Your muesli, your oats, your toast, your eggs. Now it's more, let's keep it real,
Feels right, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Favourite race food? That one piece of food, you walk into the bus, you walk down the back of the bus, you pack in your pockets and you go, oh, yeah, right.
Hello. We're sponsored by SAS, so that's good stuff. And then we use the rice cakes, which is all stock standard stuff. But probably we still have quite a lot of the old school food as well. Like we still have rice tarts and stuff like this. Something like that, because they get it from a Belgian bakery and a bit more old school traditional stuff, so like a nice flan or something. We still get stuff like that in some races, so I got a bit of a sweet tooth, so something like that.
It's nice when you get to that point of the race, you put in the pocket for when the break goes. You know you're not going to eat that in the hard race bit. It's when the break goes food, isn't it? You're like,
same with a can of Coke, right?
Yeah.
Like you get that in the feed zone and you might put it in your pocket and just wait for a little gentle downhill and you pop it open. Oh, it's great, isn't it? I don't know if it's good for you or not, but it's just nice, isn't it?
It's a shame when that moment never really happens and you have to sort of force it in and just try and enjoy it while you're sort of suffering.
It explodes all over your legs and you're frothing Coke.
Are you a coffee shop guy or not when you go out training?
I can't remember the last time I went on my bike and didn't stop for a coffee.
Wow.
Certainly not, I don't think this... Actually, I say that. The answer to that question's yesterday because it was absolutely pissing down. But under normal circumstances, every single ride I go on, I have to stop. I don't feel like I've done a ride if it doesn't incorporate a good brew stop.
What do you get when you stop? Are you a sweet man? You a savoury man? You get a sandwich? You get something? A bit of cake?
If I'm on a long ride, like a proper ride, I'll go savoury. Like I'll have a sanger or something. Just eat a bit less on the bike and just say you got 4 hours and you stop after 2.5. Or you got 5 hours, stop after 3. I'll have a proper sandwich and go savoury. But if you're on a shorter ride, like we did today, just your standard coffee and a little slice of cake or something.
Yeah, something a little sweet.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, it's good.
What sort of coffee are you? Are you espresso man or you like to get the filter going? What's your coffee, man? What's your
Do you know what? I'm probably a bit different to a lot of the cyclists here. I'm not mad into the coffee. Like the guys we're with here are mad for it. You'll have machines and grinders and this and that.
You're an instant man. Just straight up give it to me.
Yeah, I mean at home... I've got an espresso pod machine. I'll probably get killed for saying that. I've got Nescafe Gold.
Nice.
But normally I just have a cup of tea in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, for sure if I go to the cafe, I like a nice cappuccino or something. But yeah, it seems to be a thing in cycling. They're mad for it, aren't they? It's not
Especially
my tea.
on the races.
No, I keep it real, yeah. Cup of tea.
Tell me about this. We've all gone into those periods, those lockdown periods. It's time to strip weight. It's time to, turn the screws. And you get to that point where you've done like a massive ride, you've done a big block, and you want to treat yourself. What's that cheat meal where you go, you know what, that's it. I'm having it. Today's the day. I know I shouldn't, but I deserve this. What's that one meal you go for?
Full Indian.
Ooh.
Full Indian. Yeah, that's my go-to. Probably just go with a few people, and rather than having one dish, you just kind of, fill the table with food and dive in.
Yeah.
Couple of beers, wash it down. I like a bit of spice, so something with a bit of a kick as well thrown in there.
Like a vindaloo.
Maybe not quite that type of caliber.
Get a bit of naan,
garlic naan, Peshwari naan, mushroom rice, chicken tikka, Rogan Josh, danzak. You know them ones? No.
The last one I didn't know. No, the rest I did. Yeah.
Chicken danzak. Yeah, beautiful.
All right, let's move on to rituals. Crosswinds or mountains?
Come on. Crosswinds.
Dylan, I couldn't believe it. He said mountains. Didn't expect him to say that. Yeah.
What's wrong with him?
Don't know.
Well, he climbs a lot better than me, to be fair to him.
Training or racing?
Racing.
Best and worst roommate?
Best, Ben Swift. Most organised man in the world.
Yeah, but does that make you feel bad though sometimes? It's too organised? You feel really messy and I don't know what time we're going or it's just nice for you?
No, because he's quite chilled and I've known him for so long. I'm rooming with him here and one side of the room is like pristine, one side of the room is not so pristine. But he made me a cup of tea this morning. What a man, That's the type of room.
Like you woke up and he was standing there ready.
Yeah, pretty much. And gave me a cup of tea with a pack of biscuits.
Sounds like your butler.
That's how I was greeted this morning. What a man. Worst? Probably someone who snores. Do you know what? Stannard, I used to get put with him a lot as well because we got on well. But actually, he was a terrible roommate because he snored like an absolute truck. Lovely bloke, salt of the earth, great guy. But
what was your tactic? Get to sleep first?
Just throw a pillow at him if he starts snoring. Yeah.
Bus or car? The DS comes in and he's like, all right, guys, we've got to get a couple guys back, quickly. And, who's going in the cars? Luke, I see you're ready out of the showers. You ready to go in the car? Are you like, yeah, sweet, great? Or you're like...
No, I'm like, I'm going to stay here, even if it takes me an extra hour to get back. I'm happy on the bus. All day.
Which seat do you sit on the bus? Do you have your preferred seat that you go to every time? What is it?
Yeah, we got 5 seats down the left and 4 on the right. So I'm left side, bang in the middle.
Does everyone know that's your seat and they stay well away from it?
That's my turf.
Yeah.
That's my turf. Don't fuck with it.
Both buses are exactly the same?
Both buses are identical, yeah.
Does your bus have seat labels where the bus driver just... It does? Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Okay, so the bus driver just instantly puts Rowe there.
It's there. My wet bag's there. Helmets are there.
Yeah.
But quite a few guys are like that.
Yeah.
They've got their own place. It's nice.
Yeah, I think most people have places, and then you've got the gypsies that sort of just when someone pulls out of a tour, they're like straight in there. It's like I jumped straight in his grave, mate. Yeah, that didn't take you long.
Like G is always directly behind me. Kwiato is always directly in front of me. Stannard was always right at the back. Like, yeah, it's just we're a bit OCD cyclists, aren't we? So
everyone likes their spot.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Let's talk a bit of culture. Favorite rider of all time?
I'd either go Bartley or I might even say Boonen, even though we raced with him. So you normally say someone before, but you struggle to find a classier bloke, right? And what he did in his career, I mean, the Palmares speaks for himself, but
it was the way he rode.
It was the way he did it. He was just oozed class.
I think he probably got a bit more credibility for your choice if you actually got to experience riding with the person.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and like, for all I know, Bartley could be an absolute wanker because I've never met him.
You can only just see from the exterior.
Yeah. But with Tom, you can vouch for he's an amazing rider and he's an amazing bloke. So one of them two. What
about favourite rider right now?
Not in my team. Yeah, say it from...
You can say in your team or whatever.
I mean, I think you have to... I'll go outside of my team. I think you have to... the obvious picks, Wout van Aert and Pogacar. I think you have to tip your hat to them guys just because... Not because they win, because the way they win. They, like Pogacar, he's just got big balls, hasn't he? Like... Rewind to when we were winning Grand Tours, like it was effective what we did, and we rode relatively, not as calculated as people make out, but relatively calculated and controlled. Where Poggy, he just ripped the rule book up and just goes. He doesn't give a shit. So the way he wins as well as what he wins, I think you have to give him a lot of credit for. And then Van Aert is just...
he's the package, isn't he?
He's exciting to watch. You can't get away from that, even though... he's a pain in the ass to race against because he always makes you look like a fourth car in comparison. But the problem, credit where credit's due, right?
And exactly, he breaks down all those stereotypes that I like to build up. Well, look, I'm a heavier guy. That's why I can't climb. It's like, well, hang on. He's just like climbing with the best 10 guys.
Yeah.
And
these two guys, if they're on the start line, they're there to win. You never see them pull up to a race going... I'm going to ease myself into this. I won last weekend. I don't care about this week. They're hungry. They're just ferocious.
Best moment in a race. So the race starts and you go, I just love that neutral zone, or I love when the brake finally goes, or it's finally 1 kilometre to go. You're like, yes, I've made it. What's that bit for you in a race where you go, I actually love this bit?
Probably crossing the finish line. Yes. The rest of it's a bit of shit. The best part. Yeah, I mean, the neutral's terrible, isn't it? It's nothing...
I look at some old videos of the old neutral zones. They looked amazing. No one was even near the car.
Yeah.
They were just rolling around having a chat.
Yeah. No, it's one of the most dangerous parts. And it's, on the right day, on the right given day. But best part... There's not much to enjoy other than when you cross the finish line, mate. Yeah.
What about for you when it's sort of like you can smell the crosswinds happening? And that feeling of nervousness, and you can handle yourself.
I forgot about that. The best part is not that moment, but once, if it is a crosswind, the moment it's splitting and you're in the front, and you just like have a little glance around your shoulder, and you just see like 3-4 echelons. You're like, oh yeah,
yeah. It just gives you. It's hard, but it's not as hard as
once
back there.
You've made it though. Yeah. The run up to a crosswind section, as you know, is pretty.
Nervous. That's not that nice.
Into a bunch sprint, aren't you? It's horrible.
And you're always thinking, I could actually get flicked here. It's not actually my ability. Yeah. Just get the wrong side of the wheel.
More time, there's only enough for 20 guys in the front echelon. So the odds are, you shouldn't be there every time. So you got more to lose than gain. So, but once you've made it, it's a great feeling.
Worst part in a race. Same idea.
When the race in a big one of the grandies. Kilometre 0, and you start straight up on Big Mountain. That's a really good call. It's just shit.
I think. It is.
And if it's up and down all day, if I get dropped here, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably them days are quite daunting for a large percentage of the peloton.
They're scary those days.
Yeah.
Favorite kit of all time, and it's more favorite team of all time. It could be the kit and the roster, like the riders as well. But you could go, I really love that kit, didn't really like that team, or vice versa. I really love that team, but the kit was not great. Or it could be a combination of both.
Okay, I've got a combination. Quite a simple one for me. I go Fassa Bartolo.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
The kit was class, wasn't it? They had these Pinarellos. I think they have the Mavic Cosmics. They had the nice white handlebar and saddle. They had the Giro helmet. I think they had DMT shoes even. And
Pataki.
Them lead outs for Pataki kind of stick in my head. They would, unlike how you can do it now, but they'd hit the front like 10k to go, 9 blokes, and they were just
pure.
They were just dominant. Yeah,
it was the next move on from the cheapo lead outs, wasn't it?
Right. Yeah.
It was
and also the riders they had,
Yeah.
Pataki, Fletcher, Fabian, Juan Antonio. The list goes on, but
it's a very common choice when this question came. Pizzato.
They were a classy outfit, and the kit, was sleek.
Do you know what Fassa Bartolo is?
Is it gas?
I think it's concrete. It could be gas.
No, liquid gas is obviously gas, Nick.
I think it's building material. Someone's going to butcher me now when they hear this.
No, they'll butcher me for saying gas.
Yeah.
We'll go with building material.
Cobbles or gravel?
Cobbles. Gravel, I'm going to get butchered for saying this. It doesn't have a place in the sport. It's a different discipline. You like track and road, is not the same discipline. Gravel and road is not the same discipline. Get it away from the sport.
You're proposing that we don't finish in the velodrome anymore, Rowey?
No. That's different. The velodrome's there for life. That's got to stay. But cobbles, gravel has no place.
All right, last topic about you. Headphones or no headphones when you're out riding?
Back similar answer to where we said about stopping for a coffee. I can't remember the last time I rode my bike on my own. I always meet someone. I hate riding on my own. You might even not be a pro, might be an amateur, whatever, but I'm always with someone. So I'd only really use headphones if I was doing efforts or something, which isn't that often. So most of the time, no headphones.
Do you read books or watch Netflix when you're at the hotel on your own?
Netflix. Never been a bookman. Can't get into it.
What are you watching? What's something worth watching?
What did we watch the other day? Woodstock. You seen that?
No.
So the Woodstock Festival.
I had to say that was
good.
Apparently, there's an original version on HBO which is even more gruesome than
really?
that.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
Makes you feel a bit sick.
How it all unfolded. Yeah. I mean, the first episode and a half is like, oh, well, that's pretty loose, and then when it turned into what actually unfolded, pretty gruesome.
Yeah. It was BWS: beer, wine, or spirits. What's your poison of choice?
Beer.
Nice.
Yeah, and not even anything too out there. I'm quite just a simple lager or a simple, not too...
What about a traditional ale?
Yeah, I mean, the right one I can enjoy. Or an IPA, but not the dark stuff. Quite a light IPA. Yeah, I don't mind
like a brew dog or something?
Yeah, I don't mind a brew dog, yeah.
CCC. Cheese, chocolate, or cake?
I thought you were going to say crisps. Cheese, chocolate, okay. Cheese.
Yeah,
cheese.
right.
Yeah. I mean, you can't beat that Christmas cheese board with a glass of pork, can you? That's pretty punchy. Some nice chutney on the side. Fire on. That's my scene.
It's a good combo.
Yeah.
Favorite cross-training exercise? Do you do anything else than ride a bike?
Not really. Very minimal other than riding my bike. My dad boxes 2-3 times a week, and I've been with him a few times.
Yeah, right. How do you go on the jump rope?
Me, terrible. He's all right at it.
Yeah?
Yeah, but I just went a few times with him, and I did a little bit as a junior in the winter, and but it's more like from the angle of like a keep fit class, really. Like you start, you turn up, you go for a run, you're on the bag. It's not about punching a bloke in the face. It's just that buzz of being able to punch a bloke in the face. But I quite enjoyed that. Probably do a little bit of that.
Yeah, nice.
In Cardiff.
You'd probably need it in your back pocket around Cardiff too, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that and a knife.
Perfect. All right, now everyone's got one of these. War story. It's one of those days where you just go, oh, that bloody day. Typically, a Giro has a good war story. And the Tour, I'm assuming, has one too. Classics, they produce a good one. Could be even a big training day. What is it?
Yeah, I think I've been asked this a few times, like hardest day and whatever. And for me, it was... Tour started in Germany in 16 or 17. 16, 17 anyway. You'll know the crash I'm talking about. It's in the rain, super right-hander on a roundabout, and like G in the yellow jersey crashes through me, Bardet, and there's that picture of them sliding on their ass.
Yeah.
Well, I went down in that as well. Broke a couple of ribs, and that was on the first stage. And then we were about maybe a week in. Lilian Kalmajan won the stage, and I was in a group of 5 guys pretty much the whole day. We made the time cut by 30 seconds or something. It was me, Renshaw, Tim Wellens, who got fried in the heat, Damar, and 2 of his teammates. There were 6 of us, and yeah, that was it was 100.
Everyone was grim there.
We were all cross-eyed. It was like 150k to go, and we were dropped. And you know where you think, right, yeah, I'm not going to make this, but I'll ride to the finish.
With hope.
I'll ride to the finish. If I make it, I make it. If I don't, I don't. Similar thing happened last year in the Tour in Vaughan too.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'm not climbing off, but I'll get to the finish and see what happens. I missed it by 2 minutes. That day's up there as well, but I'll go for the 2016 Tour one.
What was the sort of vibe between the riders there that day? No talking, just swapping off?
Not much talking. I think we would, Renshaw was there, and he was actually really good. He kept saying, guys, I've been here 100 times. Like, I haven't been in that much of a hole that often. But he was like, guys, just keep riding. Just keep riding and
we'll make it.
Yeah. Well, it's 2 options. You make it or you don't.
Yeah.
We go from here to the finish as fast as we can. We make it or we don't. But, we made it by less than a minute.
He's like, see, told you.
I told you, boys.
Been there 100 times.
Quick maths.
Last question, mate. Why do you love riding a bike? What's the thing that you love about it? Why do you keep getting back out there, suffering, getting through those days, and next thing you know, you're back out training on a long day? What's that one thing that you love about riding?
Good question. I think it's... do you know what? I don't actually love training. I just love racing. If I could get rid of all the winter training and replace it with racing, it'd be better. I don't get a buzz out of training at all. I hate doing efforts.
Yeah.
I just like going out in a group and riding. You get to the bottom of a climb now and everyone does a lap on their Garmin. And I hate it. But then I just live for the racing. I get a buzz off it. It's exciting. One day it's just, right, turn up, all on the line, shit or bust type atmosphere one day. Or a stage race, like a 1-week stage race is nice, isn't it? I just get such a buzz off the racing. The training doesn't excite me at all. I actually dislike it. But yeah, I just live for the racing.
What are you going to do when you decide to hang the wheels up? What, are you going to keep riding then? Because you're not going to have racing then.
Yeah, I think I think it's different when you're doing 20, 22, 24 hours a week and you have to ride, as opposed to like what you were saying before. You do 10 hours a week now. I could really get into that and enjoy that. You're going out 2 hours, you ride to the calf, you stop, have a chop off with the mates on the way home, quite relaxed, sprint for the sign on the way home. Just that vibe.
You join a bunch ride, and however long the bunch goes for is the ride.
You don't even need a head unit to record. No, you don't. Like, that'd be the first thing that changes on my bike, is that goes.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't say that, but it's there now. And just I'll always ride my bike. Always ride my bike, but just with a bit less vengeance.
Awesome, mate. Well, thanks very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, mate. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, you can almost say we saved the best till last. Luke Rowe, a true pro. I loved hearing his insights into Talking Luft, because that's where Talking Luft sort of came from. It's just about hearing about all the intricate things about what the pros do, all the little silly things that I like to ask, this or that. And I hope it gives you guys a little bit more insight to what the right style is, or what the right thing is to eat or drink or whatever it is. Talking Luft. This is the sign out. I will see you guys next year. Before we go, some thank yous. A big thanks goes out to Will Jones, who has been the producer of all these episodes this year, the main editor who puts all these episodes together. He gets all that raw content that I send him, somehow pieces it together to make these great episodes. I've loved working with him. Thank you, Will. And I'm sure everyone out there is going to agree with me. He's done an amazing job this year. Lara Durbridge, who has worked with me the last 5 years of the podcast, has been amazing this year, doing all the work she does behind the scenes, the merchandise, all the stuff you see in the emails, all the website stuff. everything behind the scenes, coming up with episodes ideas, giving me great editing notes on the episodes. She is an integral part to the puzzle of life in the Peloton, so a big thanks goes out to her this year. But last, but definitely not least, Rapha. We couldn't have done it without them this year, and I was so happy to have them on board, and as you know, I love just working with them too. Guys, a big thanks goes out to you for listening. Stay tuned, and I look forward to hearing from you and tuning in next year. Cheers. The music in this episode was composed by Pete Shelley. Cheers, mate.